Honestly, how can we not have found you a reasonably priced but still amazing dress yet? I don't know, Maggie said, but this poofy sparkly thing is giving me a headache. She glanced at the skin on her chest. And possibly a rash. Here, let's get you out of it, Ginger said, and she spun Maggie around and unzipped her. Maggie sucked in a deep gulp of air and ducked behind the curtain to get dressed. When she returned with the offending dress and 3 other rejects on her arm, she handed them to the waiting saleslady and signaled to the girls that it was time to go. As they passed a bride and her mother, Maggie felt a pang in her chest. She missed her daughter Laura, who was doing an internship in New York City this summer. Oh, she'd be in Virginia to stand up for Maggie at the wedding, and Maggie knew that Laura loved Sam and was happy for them. But her baby girl would be finishing college soon, and was starting her own life. It was one of the many changes Maggie had been trying to adjust to over the past few months. Don't worry, Ginger said as she draped her arm over Maggie's shoulder. It's only May. We have almost a month to find your perfect dress. Maggie returned her friend's half-hug. She didn't have the heart to tell her that it wasn't just the dress that had her fretting. She and Sam had decided to start their new life in a new house, a place that they owned together, which would be a new beginning for both of them. While she was thrilled by the idea of a fresh start, leaving her home of more than 20 years was harder than she had thought it would be. I know you're right, she said. She didn't want to burden her friends with all of her thoughts. No worries. Joanne had been the designated driver since she needed Patience's car seat. They all piled into her SUV with Ginger sitting next to Patience so she could coo at the baby while they drove. As the mother of 4 teen boys, Ginger could not get enough of the precious baby girl. If not ivory or white, then what color do you want to wear to your wedding? Claire asked from the front passenger seat. I can research customs for second weddings for you at the library. Maybe there is something mystical about wearing red or purple. Claire glanced over her seat back at Maggie. With her blonde bob and rectangular black glasses, Claire looked just like the librarian that she was. She was always the one to answer a conundrum with research, and Maggie valued her for it. That might give us some interesting ideas, Joanne said. Maybe yellow could be your go-to color. She tossed her long brown braid over her shoulder and met Maggie's gaze in the rearview mirror. Then her eyes darted to the baby just to be sure her girl was fine. It had taken Joanne and her husband Michael a long time to conceive, and Maggie frequently caught her friend staring at her baby girl in wonder. She understood the feeling well. Yellow? Maggie asked. I don't know if that color is always kind to redheads. Just be thankful that your only issue is finding a dress. I've been reading up on international wedding customs, and there are some doozies, Claire said. In Fiji, the groom must present his prospective father-in-law with a whale tooth. Biggest mammal going, and it lives underwater. How's that for proving your love? Sam is getting off easy, Ginger said. There is also a tribal custom in northern Borneo, where the newly married couples are required to be confined to their house while not going to the bathroom for 3 days and nights, Claire said. Now that's commitment. Suddenly, finding an appropriate dress does not seem as much of a challenge as it did a few minutes ago, Maggie said. She grinned at her friend. Thank you, Claire. You're quite welcome, Claire said. How do you know all of these things? Ginger asked. It mystifies. We information scientists are full of useful facts, Claire said. I know a few more unusual customs. No, I think we're good. Ginger held up one hand. I don't want to ruin my lunch. Can you drop me off at the station, Joanne? Maggie said. Sam and I have an appointment with Marcy Hayes. No problem. What property are you looking at today? Joanne asked. Maggie glanced at her friends. She wondered how they were going to take the news. She could still hear her mother's gasp of horror from when she'd spoken to her on the phone last night. Well, there wasn't any way to sugarcoat it. The Dixon place, she said. The rest of the goodbye girls looked at her with wide eyes.